In this video, we're gonna walk through the new MPC 3.4 arranger mode, and we're gonna arrange a beat. Let's get into it. So this is the beat that we have right now. I made this drum template from scratch. I created the drum loop and then I resampled it to use it as like an audio sample within the arranger, which I'm going to go into next. This is what the beat sounds like so far. That's the sample that I chopped up and the drum beat that I made. Now let's get into the arranger mode. Right here in the arranger mode, I have two drum beats, so I'm actually going to go back to the main and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to the track mute section. So I have the two drum beats right here. So this is without any drums. This is the first drum beat I made that doesn't have as much percussion as the next. And then there's this one. When I'm in the arranger mode, I'm going to go basically back and forth from this drum loop and this one and kind of switch off and on. I might even have one for the hook and one for the verse, or half and half. So at this point, when I have the beat laid out, I have the bass, I have some extra keys, and I have the sample and the drums. I'll show you everything in just a second. But what I want to do at this point, when I have basically the backbone, is I want to extend the beat probably like, I don't know, 32, 48 bars, something like that. So in order to do that, we need to go to the edit button right here on the top right, click the edit, and then right here you can do half length or double length. These two options will extend your beat or whatever you have, your loop. So in this scenario, we're just going to be clicking double length because I just want to make the beat longer so I can have a little bit more variation and build-ups and things like that. So we're gonna click that. It went from 8 to 16 bars. We're gonna click it again. Now it's gonna go to 32. 64, so we'll just leave it at that. So what I want to do next is create kind of like an intro. The cue links right here is what we're going to use. Make sure you're on cue link 1, and I think it's the third one down is going to bring the end forward. So let's just bring that forward. So we're going to go probably to the first 4 bars, and I'm going to mute everything but the sample. So I'm going to mute the drums. I'm just going to mute both of them. So we muted the audio. The next step is going to be muting the MIDI, which right here is some shakers that I have. So we're going to make sure, first of all, that it's highlighted. And then you're going to click edit on the upper right here. Go to erase. And then from here, just make sure everything looks good. And then we're going to go ahead and do it. And then right there, you can see it deleted just within that 4 bars. Now we're going to do the same thing to this MIDI right here, which is the bass line. We're going to just make sure it's highlighted, edit, erase, make sure everything looks good. And I'm actually going to erase this part too and just bring it to a solid 8-bar intro. So what I'm gonna do is go down to the third cue link, stretch it out. Again, make sure you have that selected, edit, erase. Make sure whatever you wanna do. I'm probably gonna actually keep that in. Now let's see what this sounds like. And then like right there, I'll probably do like a little drop. So we'll bring it in. Make sure we can really bring it in. So I'm just gonna take out the shaker and a little bit of this. So we went ahead, we cut this. So now I'm just going to do erase since it is selected right there. And there you go. You have the audio cut. So I went ahead and I muted the drums that I wasn't going to use and made a few cuts in here. Not the best cuts, but definitely something that I can work with. So this is what we have right now with a little bit of a buildup. I'm just gonna zoom out. And Akai really made it so it's like using an actual DAW at your fingertips. So I started making music on the MPC using Cakewalk, Pro Tools, and for the past 6-7 years using flstudio. And honestly, this is just like flstudio in my opinion. And it's really cool how they have like the different colors, how you can bounce MIDI to audio. I can't do that right now because in order to do that, you need freed up space on your internal drive, and my internal drive is a little packed, so I'm probably gonna have another video where I show how to unload that memory or how to transfer it and clean out some of that internal memory space. Also, be sure to share, like, and subscribe if you like the video and you find this helpful. Let's get back into it. So this is the beat right now with a little bit of arrangement and variety. Let's see what it sounds like. So I also have some other plugins that are on this beat, and you can't see them because I had just some issues with the tracks. I was just trying to figure some things out with routing and in and outs. That's for a different video. However, you can see that in between this MIDI and this, we have these tracks. So if you want to delete this space, of course you want to be careful so you're not deleting any of your own tracks. So what you want to do is just make sure, even if you got to zoom in a little bit to make sure that it's the right track, click an empty track, hold it down, and then click delete track. And then we're going to do it again. You want to hold it down, click delete track, and then delete, do it again. If anyone knows how to batch these up, let me know, because right now I actually don't know. And if you can't do it in this, I'm sure they're probably going to allow us to do it when the new update comes out after the beta. So at this point in the video, my camera decided to die on me. So I'm going to show you what the camera didn't pick up, and I'll explain to you what I did. Let's get into it. With this bar, it's basically intro, hook, verse, and then hook. If you want to mark these, you can as well. So it's going to be like a locator or indicator of where your intro, hook, verse, bridge, anything that you want to make sure you can go back and forth to. So for example, we're going to go right here and we'll do shift set, and that's going to be an indicator of the hook. This one's going to be an indicator of the verse. And once you have the locators set, make sure one of them is highlighted. For example, this one's going to highlight the hook. You're going to click right here, bar, beat, tick. Click right there, double click, and then you're gonna see time and locators. Click locators. So you can actually name these just by clicking on them. So you can go like intro, hook, verse 1. Now when we close it, you'll see now they're named. How I made this intro though, is I made sure I had this indicator bar set to the areas that I wanted to take sounds out of. I got rid of the bass for this first part, got rid of the shakers for the first 8 bars, got rid of this soft synth right here that I added with the plugin, so it sounds like this. I'll play the first intro, hook, and verse. And then I cut this part out as well. here that I did some chops. I have some variation in there. So in one part I have the different drums muted and unmuted. So for example, like this first track right here is the drums without any added percussion like bongos or rim shots or anything like that. And then the second one has bongos and like a couple other things to it. So it just gives it a little bit more variation. These ones I'm probably gonna chop up later. And I slice these up. So how you can slice this too is if you have audio, you can just double click it and you can go in here and you can slice things. You can dice things. Right now I'm just slicing a bunch of stuff. So I might even just take that out and see like what that would sound like. What I did here was make little breaks, you know, right before the verse, just to give a little bit more of an impact and give the song a little bit more feeling. What I would do is I would probably mark, you know, like this synthesizer here and bounce it down to audio. However, my internal memory drive is full right now, so I'm going to probably do another video on how to empty that out and transfer information to another source, so like an external hard drive or a thumb drive, something like that. Let me know in the comments if you have the same issue. Maybe it isn't an internal memory thing and my beta version is just bugging. Hopefully not. If you need to also like adjust anything, you know, you can double click this and it'll bring you right to the grid underneath here. You can go in there if you really need to. You know, you can get rid of something. So it's really dope, you know, how much control you have over it. Another thing that I am probably going to do a lot is like in little parts like this, I'll probably like select the sample chop. And then like change it up a little bit. So like for example, like this. So now we can play it back a little bit. So far, that is how I work through a beat in the new arranger mode. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want me to cover or you want to see. I hope you learned something from this video. You know, maybe you can add something to your workflow from this. Who knows? And also be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you like this video. It really helps out my channel. And I'll see you again.